The following is a production of Stevenson Media. H-Town, what it do? I am Nick Stevenson, the president of Houston Sports. He is Ruben Calvillo, Mr. 713. This is episode 21 of the Twin Toros podcast.
We can drink now?
We can drink. It's official.
Hey,
21 episodes in, baby.
Man.
Congratulations to you, Ruben. Listen, I want to thank everybody who's been supporting us, whether it's been on 713 Houston Sports or the ESPN Houston YouTube channel. 21 episodes in, we've had our meeting with ESPN with Joe George, man. I think they like what we got going on. The good news for all of you guys, if they have let us know that we will be here indefinitely, at least for the foreseeable future, man. So I'm really excited to keep this thing going. Houston fans, I wish we could be giving you that news after a dub. But listen, Ruben, before the season started, I had told people to kind of pump the brakes on this team, and people told me I was a hater. Some said I had that same old Houston mentality. Well, here we sit at week 12, my friend, and it's same old Houston Texans. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, we are what we are right now, and this team's struggling. Well, not this team, this offense. And I remember saying almost 2 months ago that this is going to be a problem down the line. I was saying that all these hits are going to add up to CJ Stroud alongside of the play calling from Bobby Slowick. I'm going to quote myself. There should be alarm bells ringing in NRG that your young franchise quarterback is frustrated and you need to do something now before it starts costing you games. Well, now here we are, Nick, and it is costing us games. CJ Stroud, let's not run away from it. He's having a sophomore slump, and it hurts to say that, but we have to call a spade a spade. We wouldn't be doing our fans a service if we act like, everything's peaches and cream.
Right.
But right now, there is a problem with this Houston Texan offense. It's been a problem all year, and there were signs all throughout the season. And they've all led up to this right now where you just got embarrassed by the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree with you. And Ruben, you did sound the alarm several weeks ago about the offensive line, about these hits that CJ was taking, and you were right about all of that. You said one thing earlier that I tend to disagree with, and I've been talking to many people about this week. Everybody wants to separate, well, it's the offense from the defense. At the end of the day, the Houston Texans are a team. And
that's where I disagree.
And let me finish though. 2 of your 3 units suck right now. The offense is not good, and the special teams hasn't been good the last couple of weeks. So if 2 out of 3 of your unit is not good, then what that adds up to is you're just a mediocre football team. As a whole, this team is just mediocre. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the defense would have to be historically good in order to make this team not just mediocre. And that's where I say we can't really separate it. Not to mention, bro, I'm sorry, but the Houston Texans defense just got waxed by a mayonnaise salesman. And we can't absolve them from that. The Texans have only given up less than 14 points twice this season, once against the Bears and once against the Cowboys. Are they the worst part of this team? Absolutely not. At times, have they been elite? Yes, they have. They've shut down a really good quarterback in the Buffalo quarterback, in Josh Allen. They've had decent showings, man. But what I'm saying is we can't separate this team into 3 parts. As a whole, they're just not that good right now.
I think you can separate a team into 3 parts because when you look at how bad the offense is, we have 5 to 6 games this year, Nick, where we haven't scored in quarters 3 and 4. Our defense has scored more second half touchdowns in the last month than our offense has. Our defense has been elite. our defense is one of the reasons why we are where we are, first place in the AFC South, because they can shut down opposing quarterbacks. You lost the game where you had 5 interceptions from Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
You just lost this game on Sunday where you had 7 sacks. You finished with 8.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for this team is the Houston Texan offense. And, from the special teams, the only thing that's wrong is the inconsistency of Kaimi Fairbairn. He could boot it for 50, but once he gets inside the 30-yard range, it is as inconsistent as they come. Tommy Townsend has been punting good. Damian Pierce looked good on Sunday. So it is just one thing holding back this team, which is why we've been saying for the past couple of weeks, Nick, that if they figure it out, then who knows how dangerous can this team become? Because I know for a fact this defense is going to eat against Miami, against Jacksonville, against Kansas City, Baltimore, and Tennessee. We're going to be able to get to the quarterback. We're going to say, wow, this defense once again is saving this Houston Texans team. And we all know what the problem is, and that is the offense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what I'm saying is that they're not going to give you extra points in the standings because your defense was good. At the end of the day, the Houston Texans as a unit, and I understand it's not the defense's fault that the offense put them in terrible position twice last week. Both times.
All season.
Oh, of course. Both times that CJ Stroud threw an interception last week against the Titans, or a few days ago against the Titans. You were in the red zone
you automatically. Them out of the red zone, and it's a field goal.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not debating that, but all I'm saying is that whenever you say, "Oh, but our defense is good," it almost sounds like you're making excuses for the team. And what I'm saying is, as a whole, we're 12 weeks in, and we'll talk about later what the Texans need to do moving forward. But all I'm saying is we can't make excuses for this team as a whole. The Houston Texans franchise is right now just an average, middle of the road, and what I would dare call mediocre football team. They can beat up on some of the bad teams, but what I will say is we can't look at this schedule anymore and say, "Oh, that's a dub." Not for the Houston Texans. We thought that about this game. We thought that about the Jets. You can't look at this schedule anymore and say, "Oh, that's an automatic win." You just can't.
And that's because your offense can't do nothing in quarters 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been that way all season. You ask me what's wrong with this team, I'm going to the offense first.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I know at any given moment, this defense can become elite because we've seen it all year. Like, you don't just have Josh Allen have the worst, quarterback percentage in the last 30 years if you weren't elite. And we know the specialty of DeMeco is the defensive side of the ball. My thing is, Nick, is because this is where I see the fan base now questioning DeMeco Ryans and starting to have some problems with him, right?
I don't like that.
And I don't like it either because I still think DeMeco Ryans is the guy. I still 100%, believe in DeMeco. However, it would be wrong for me not to have an issue with his inability to address what the issue is with this Houston Texan offense. After the game, when he goes out there and says that this defense didn't do enough to win you the game, I mean, what are we talking about here, DeMeco Ryans? Your defense was the one that scored a touchdown in the second half, a pick 6 from Jimmy Ward. That's where my concern comes when it comes in regards to our head coach. We know that once you're DeMeco Ryans' boy, you're pretty much okay. You're pretty much safe. And now where you're here now, where the consistent struggles have now caught up to this Houston Texans team. And now the other problems on this team are also being amplified because what worked for you last year, which was your quarterback, CJ Stroud, it's not working for you this year, man.
Yeah. I understand the concern with DeMeco's demeanor after these losses. And I agree with you. When he said that the defense had to play better, I know that's a defensive player's mentality. Unfortunately, that's not a head coach mentality. You can't just stare down one side of the ball and say, "Oh, this is the reason that we lost the game," because your defense did play well enough where if you do anything on offense, you probably win that game. And for me, here's the problem. I've said this multiple times. Because of the way the Texans offense has been playing, the defense has to be perfect. And they haven't been. The defense at times is prone to giving up big plays. We saw that in this game. We saw that in the Lions game. We saw that multiple times against the Vikings. We've seen this defense have, and this part that sucks about it is it's just one or two plays in a game will break the camel's back. And it sucks.
Three big plays from Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that you have to be perfect in order to win a game, but that's the situation that the Texans find themselves in. Now, I hope behind closed doors, DeMeco Ryans isn't going to this team and saying, good job, offense, defense, we got to do better. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I hope not. I really, really hope not. But at the same time, you know, I mean, yeah, you look at the scoreboard, 27 points should be enough, right? Well, like you said, one of those was a pick six from the defense. And, you know, the reason you can't ask the defense to do any better than they did in the situations where the Titans get handed the ball and they're already on the 20. I mean, what do you want them to do? So I get it. But like I said, as a whole, though, here's some things that Texans fans just have to come to grips with. Number one, the Texans are not Super Bowl contenders. We can end that narrative right now. And it's possible that maybe they never were. Maybe we overestimated how good this offensive line was going to be. Maybe we downplayed the fact.
Did that.
Yeah, maybe we downplayed the fact that C.J. Stroud in his second year. And look, this isn't bashing C.J. Stroud. The quarterback position in the NFL is a hard position to play. Some of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game struggled early in their career. And maybe we just shouldn't have assumed that because he played the way he played last year, that he was just going to automatically be better. But right now, he's not a top 5 quarterback. We thought he was at the beginning of the season. He's not. That doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. He's just not top 5, not right now. I think the defense is good and not great. The defense could be great if the offense maybe was putting them in better situations. But right now, like we said, they can't afford to give up the big plays that they're giving up. And the last thing I will say is that, you know, it sucks to say this, man, but moving forward, it's time to just start reevaluating. I'm not giving up on the season. What I've said before still stands. If the Texans go into the playoffs, I don't care what their record is in the regular season. If they win 2 playoff games, this season's a success. However, right now it doesn't look like it looks like they'd be lucky to win a game in the postseason right now. This bye week could not come fast enough. I don't want to overlook the Jags, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in the bye week, they got to take a serious look in the mirror. And I think it's time that I think besides Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud and anybody who's on a rookie contract, next season, nobody's safe, man. And I don't mean necessarily off the team, but as far as playing time goes,
though, bro, like we can't.
No, that's why I said I don't necessarily mean off the team, but I mean as far as who's playing and who's not playing. You've got to start reevaluating everything and everybody. And I don't want to start having that conversation too early, but you know, after a loss like this, man, it's really disheartening. You start kind of thinking about those things, even though this season is not over. But moving forward, I think this is an evaluation period. Over the next 5 games, will tell you who you've got on this team and what they're going to be capable of doing moving forward.
I 100% agree. And which is why, if you want to have any type of hope left for this season, hope that if you get into the playoffs, you can make something happen. Because I do believe with this front four that anything can happen once you get into the postseason. You got to make a change in terms of play caller. I know we are this late into the season, and I know maybe if we would have had the bye week earlier, maybe middle of the way, a change would have been made. But I think at this point, Nick, you have to go to Gerard Johnson, because not only is he known C.J. Stroud since the Elite 11 competition in high school, but there is a good chance that Gerard Johnson is your offensive coordinator next year. And if I'm Nick Caserio, I'm thinking, let me just get a jump start on next season, and let me hope this change could ignite something in this offense. Because when you look at the offense, it's hopeless. There's no creativity. There's no life. There's no juice, Nick. And you see C.J. Stroud on the bench like this, looking like he is about to cry. these guys no longer believe in Bobby Slowick. And I think a change
That's a strong
needs
statement, Rube. You believe that?
And then I think a change needs to be made in play caller. And here's the thing. You could probably still beat the Jacksonville Jaguars without scoring a touchdown in the second half. Mac Jones has played that bad of football.
Yeah.
Just think about the narrative, right? You get a much-needed bounce-back win against Jacksonville. Bye week. Get the alarm. Hey, before you play the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, and you've been on record saying you don't think the Baltimore Ravens are legit, the Houston Texans are making a change at play caller. How would that make you feel? You would say, okay, we're trying to change this.
Yeah.
I think that could be the last thing that you do to potentially save this season, because you bring up same old Houston Texans, and we've seen this before. The Texans taking advantage of a weak division of weak teams and getting a home playoff game, maybe winning that, they getting bounced in the second round. Yeah. I don't want to see that story again. I've seen in my entire career as a Houston Texans fan. Yeah. And if a move's not made, that's where I think this is going. But you bring in, you make the change to Gerard Johnson or Bill Lazor or someone else. Okay, we're trying to do something for this season, man. And who knows what the hell could happen. Yeah. Well, because you already saw Will Kunkel on Fox 26 tweet that the University of Houston has relieved their play caller, and it blew up because everyone was thinking that it was the Houston Texans, and he had to go on there and say University of Houston. But you got to do something, Nick, man, before it's too late. And it makes sense to do it, right? You got the bye week. You got 3 playoff teams, 2 MVP quarterbacks. Come on. Season's not over, like you said.
I think, will that fix the offense? That I don't know. Because the question is he drawing up a new offense, or is he just calling the same plays but in different order?
Maybe different order. Yeah. Maybe, Gerard Johnson, he's a former A&M college quarterback. I don't think Bobby Slowick has ever played football, above middle school or high school.
I feel you.
So, you see how players are starting to really, trust coaches that have been there and done that. For sure. And I know for a fact this offense would immediately snap into place when, if Gerard Johnson is calling plays. There was that moment earlier in the season against the Colts where before Kenyon Green comes back in after Jared Patterson goes out with a concussion, he is yelling at Kenyon Green. He is getting in his face saying, "Don't screw this up." Yeah. And dude, I mean, will it change this offense? Probably not. Yeah. But let me give you 2 instances where we've made changes and it's benefited, right? You bench Kenyon Green against the Colts. Jared Patterson comes in, and what happens? You immediately score the football. Next week against the New York Jets, you have a new left guard, Kendrick Green. And what do we see there? A 98-yard touchdown drive. The first time we've had that in years. A change does help, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And this will be probably one of the biggest changes you made, a change at play caller.
Yeah, I would say, if anything, it sends the message that the status quo is not okay. And maybe that sends a jolt into the team. And I don't know. Maybe it would fix some things. If I thought that the offensive play calling was the only problem with the offense, that would probably excite me a little bit more. But I think there is something to be said about not just doing the same old thing over and over again and just saying we got to be better. That's the one thing that I wonder. DeMeco Ryans gets up in front of the cameras. He gets up in front of the press and says, we just have to execute better. We called the right plays. We just have to execute. I don't know what it is you're doing to make your team execute better, but it appears to not be working. So maybe it's not just the execution that's the problem. Look, DeMeco has forgotten more football than I'll ever know. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know better than he does. Mm-hmm. I just look at the result, man. And what the result is that over the last several weeks, this team has been consistently inconsistent. And it's becoming a point where you don't have faith moving forward that they're going to be able to make much noise in the playoffs.
I mean, you have zero faith in this offense. Yeah. I mean, that's just,
but that's what wins games in this NFL right now, man. That's just the reality we live in. The old defense wins championships. That's an old way of thinking, man. Offenses are dominating this league right now, and that's what worries me about this Texans team.
Yeah, I mean, your offense sucks, and like we say, once halftime is over, we know once quarters 3 and 4 are here,
Yeah,
we completely shut down, which is an issue, Nick. And that's
yeah,
why I've been talking about these change. I mean, if Gerard Johnson gets the play calling sheet and scores a touchdown in the third quarter, wow, it's already better than what we've seen all season
true
from
that.
Bobby Slowick. That's how bad it's been. And you bring up that, it's not just the play calling, right? And I know that as well. It's the offensive line, the highest paid unit in the NFL, playing like dog crap. But Bobby Slowick calls the offense like he has the
Mhm.
best offensive line in the NFL. And we
Yeah,
know that's not true. We know that there is no rhythm, there's no creativity, there's no flow
yeah,
from this Houston Texan offense. You'll see a 50-yard pass to Nico Collins, gets you at the 5-yard line. Then you immediately run Joe Mixon to the left, and it's
yeah.
-3, -4 yards. Where's the creativity? Where's the flow there?
You know what,
And
Ruben? You've sold me, bro. I think there's something to it, man. It might just be hearing a different voice in the locker room. That
brother, I
alone
mean,
might just
dude,
be,
come on, bro.
yeah.
Like, dude,
Maybe whatever Bobby
there's
Slowick is
no
saying.
life right now, bro. There
Yeah,
is no life. You see CJ Stroud on the bench looking like he is about to cry, and you see Bobby Slowick out there without a hat, with no fade on. I'm not listening to you, dude. You can't even take care of your personal hygiene, and you're trying to talk to me
yeah.
about football.
You're looking too
See,
stressed out, brother.
bro, CJ Stroud knows what winning football is.
Yeah,
Right? He comes from a winning program in college. He came here last year and said, "Man, I've never once played in a stadium that hasn't been packed."
yeah.
CJ Stroud knows what it takes to get it done, and I know for a fact right now he is like, "I don't trust the play call."
This is the weird thing about CJ.
The
And
Lions did it a couple of years ago, switched to Ben Johnson late in the season.
mhm. Yeah,
What do
yeah.
you got to lose? Because
The
we know how this is gonna end up. And I don't want to, I don't want to sit here and say, you know what, Nick, we told y'all that this was going to happen. And here we are after division round loss.
Mr. 713 did tell y'all. I'm gonna admit that. Listen, man, here's the weird part about CJ too, and I want to shout out John and Lance from ESPN 97.5 because they were talking about how here's the one thing we know about CJ that he does well. He's always been an accurate quarterback, and even his accuracy is gone. So he's regressing underneath Bobby Slowick, and that is a problem.
It's a huge problem. And
It's
I don't
definitely a problem
understand.
because I don't want to see that trend continue. Now, maybe he needs the bye week too. Maybe he just needs to reset his mind. But I'm the more you talk about it, Ruben, the more I'm on board. But let's get a new voice in there and just see what happens. It can't possibly get much worse. I mean,
No.
yeah, you scored a touchdown on the Cowboys. Congratulations.
And that came after what? They went for it on 4th down. They
Yeah,
got sacked, and you were already in your territory.
yeah.
Like, come on.
It's
Like,
yeah. I think there's something to it, man. So I'm officially on board with Ruben's strategy. Let's get a new play caller in there and see what happens.
I mean,
Uh,
if
it's
he's
just
gonna be
so
there next year, why not do it?
yeah. The fall of Bobby Slowick, bro, has been like Shakespearean. How insane it's
Well,
been that he goes from being one of the hottest commodities in the NFL to possibly being somebody's film coordinator next year. We'll
if you
see.
listen to some people still did not like Bobby Slowick after last season,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because his inability to have both the running game and the pass game working last season.
Yeah,
Remember they were talking about that. I mentioned how the Houston Texans only had 3 100-yard rush performances all year,
yeah.
and
The only Shanahan tree coaches that could not run the ball. Yeah,
dude, it's
I feel you.
and when you think about it, bro, we hired a rookie offensive coordinator to develop a rookie quarterback. Like in hindsight, I was kind of dumb, right? In hindsight, you would have
Yeah,
wanted a veteran who's been around the league for multiple years to come in and help, build your quarterback. Dude, I was on the stream asking where's Case Keenum, why he's not there next to CJ Stroud,
yeah,
trying to talk to him and things like that.
yeah, for sure.
Um, I don't see a leader right now on this offense, bro. I
Yeah,
really do not. Um, but
there's
hopefully,
there's definitely a problem there. And you know what? It was also a rookie head coach who put a rookie offensive coordinator in charge of a rookie quarterback. So, look, man, this is the reason they gave DeMeco Ryans a 6-year contract. This is not something that changes overnight. I know fans are very impatient when it comes to things like this, and that's why the talk of firing DeMeco Ryans really irritates me.
Crazy.
It really, really irritates me. The man was given a 6-year contract because he came into a dumpster fire. Nobody expected that the Texans would win 10 games last season.
We're still paying David Culley and Lovie Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I'm saying. And maybe the Texans overachieved last season, and that gave us too many hopes for this season. At the end of the day, though, I don't think his tenure as head coach should be judged until his 3rd or 4th year. So let's pump the brakes on that. But at the same time, you don't just give up on this season and say, oh, well, it's only DeMeco's 2nd year. No, man, you try to win as many of these games you can, be playing as good a football as you can going into the playoffs. And if you don't win 2 games, regardless, it's not a successful season because you've been here, like you said, done that, same old Texans. We've seen this a million times. Listen, man, as a Houston Texans fan, I know you and I, the reason we do this show, we're passionate. We're still supporting this team. We're not giving up on the season, but you got to, like you said, call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Right now, the Texans are just an okay middle-of-the-pack football team. They're not in the same league as the Chiefs. Let's end that conversation. They might not even be in the same league as the Ravens, who I think are gettable. I think the Ravens are very gettable right now. And so I'm not really trying to bash this team because at the beginning of the season, I wanted us to pump the brakes and realize some of this could happen. But at the same time, you brought up all of the moves they made. And yes, I've said 1,000 times they didn't put this expectation on themselves. But Texans fans aren't being unfair, to expect more than what we've gotten so far, especially over the last several weeks. Texans fans are not unreasonable for asking for more and wanting more going forward.
No, 100%. I mean, everyone's upset and they have a reason to, right?
Yeah.
And, the Texans themselves, if they are called pretenders, they absolutely deserve it. If they're, if CJ Stroud being called a sophomore slump, it deserves it because we're just not playing good football right now. And with 5 more weeks left in the season, Nick, if this continues going on, my concerns are just going to be, just raising higher and higher. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to me is number 7 quarterback CJ Stroud.
Yeah, for sure.
Your sense of urgency when you have a young quarterback who you think is the guy should be at an all-time high. And the fact that you're able to be in this position with wins, first place in the AFC South with your 2nd-year quarterback struggling is saying something.
Yeah.
So let's get it right. Everyone take all the negativity on the chin. Yeah. We absolutely deserve it. I had to hop on a Titans podcast last night and get absolutely cooked.
Ouch.
But I did that because I love this team.
Absolutely. In fairness, let me just say something to the Titans fans who were acting like, listen, this was the Titans Super Bowl this year.
It was their Super Bowl.
This was their Super Bowl. They've only won 3 games. And I'm like, congratulations, man. I've seen Titans fans going absolutely insane. Look, I would still rather be the Houston Texans right now than the Tennessee Titans. 100%.
Walk up in their week 18 and just...
Oh, man. Yeah, here's the problem with that. I was hoping that game would not even be important to the Texans.
Yeah,
well, now it's going to be. No, it's absolutely going to be. Especially going into that 3-game stretch. We've talked about multiple times. 3 games in 10, 11 days.
10 games.
It's going to be, it's going to be brutal, man. So, listen, the one thing we can say is the rest of this season will not be boring. And that is the reason the Twin Toros exist, man. I'm still really excited to see what happens with this team. I'm excited and I love repping H-Town, talking Houston Texans with all of you, whether it be on ESPN Houston YouTube channel or on the 713 Houston Sports channel. I want to remind all of you watching now, our preview games, the Texans-Jag preview, will be on 713 Houston Sports. If you are not subscribed to 713 Houston Sports, what have you been waiting for? Mr. 713 is the place to go for Houston Texans content on the daily. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, don't miss any of his content, and don't miss the Twin Toros. You will find me on Houston Sports State of the Union podcast on YouTube, X, TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. I do a live stream every week. giving you the temperature of all of Houston sports. And I love doing it. I enjoy doing this with you, Ruben. I'm so excited to continue doing it going forward. Before we get out of here, show the people something that's going to get them excited for next week against the Jags.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're going up against a quarterback that is truly horrible, and that is Mac Jones. I don't think Trevor Lawrence will be suiting up to go, even though they said he's going to be practicing. It is not smart whatsoever to put your quarterback at risk. You could probably still win this Jags game without having to score a touchdown in the second half. That's what's sad about this game. However, there's still a little bit of hope, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
There's still an opportunity for this Houston Texans team to shock the world.
Preach.
And they have an opportunity to do that before years end. And here's the thing, they have a bye week before that to figure it out. And here's the thing. You make a change right before the holidays. Everyone who was already in a good mood, the mood is only going to just continue to rise and rise. And let's get it going. No one believes in you. They're calling you a pretender. Let's get a new offensive coordinator here, man, and let's shock the world. Gerard Johnson, show us something. CJ Stroud, we're not giving up on you yet, buddy.
Give us something. Amen to that, Ruben. I'm hyped now, ready. I'm hyping ready now. Listen, man.
Imagine, bro, after the Jaguars game, like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Houston Texans are moving on from offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, quarterback coach Gerard Johnson will now be calling plays for the remainder of the season. I mean, I'll get goosebumps. And I promise you'll see a lot of, little subtle jabs on Instagram, like the eye emojis and things like that. And, it's going to feel like a breath of fresh air, bro. Yeah. And sometimes, man, all you got to do is just open up the doors, let the bad vibes out and come back in after some good turkey, after some good, family.
Amen.
And let's get it going.
Bro, I hate to say that about somebody losing their job on the holidays, but you're right. It is what it is, man. Listen,
it's okay. He's going to get fired and still get paid.
That's the truth. That's the truth. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, which is coming up, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I think we should be thankful that we still have a Houston Texans football team that is playing relevant games this deep into the season. Cannot be said about the Titans, so congratulations on your Week 12 Super Bowl. But the Houston Texans still have an opportunity to do something they've never done before. They are in position to be able to do that. Will they take advantage of it? That is yet to be seen. But I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Twin Toros. We will see you for our Jags preview game show. When you want to do that, Rube? You want to do it? I know you're going to be a little full of turkey, maybe have the itis, probably sipping on a little something. You want to do it Friday?
Record it tomorrow or something, because I think I will be doing the ESPN show in College Station.
Oh, are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
My guy.
George. So we're going to go ahead and, kill some great content, enjoy some great beer, and have a long hour and a half drive home.
I'm so excited for that, man. You go ahead and let the people know what you're doing on Friday then.
Yeah, man. This Friday from 4 to 7, we'll be at this bar in College Station. When I get more details, I'll blast it out. But we're going to be having a nice little 4-hour sports talk show, and I'm excited for it. I think it's my official debut on the station. So
absolutely
appreciate everyone who has gotten me this far. I wouldn't be nowhere without y'all. Let's get it going.
Let's give a round of applause to my boy Ruben.
I don't know if I should drink like before or after.
Probably after. There might be some FCC violation if you're drinking beforehand. I don't know. But man, congratulations, man. I'm so happy for you. You've earned it. And you're repping 713 Houston Sports. You're representing all of your fans, and you represent the Twin Toros, man, on 97.5. He's going to be on the FM airways, man. I'm proud of you, bro. So you guys make sure you guys tune into that. So yeah, let's do our preview show for the Jags tomorrow, and then we can drop that for all of you on the 713 Houston Sports YouTube channel. All right, man. Well, we will see you all then. In the meantime, you know what it is. We want you to stay 10 toes down for the H. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you. Good night.